So the moment polisher makes contact with the paint, there is a lot going on, a lot more than people tend to think about. So a variable, like I said, is something that you can adjust or something that's adjusted on you. This will impact the result. So what I want you to do is on your piece of paper and with your pen, I want you to take a moment and just make a list of everything you can think of that when this pad makes contact to the paint, everything you can think of that's a variable. And that means that anything that can change or be changed that will change the result, it will impact the result. Some of them are very obvious, Matt. Some of them are not obvious. All right.
We're gonna fail, but we got it.
So give me one.
One would be pressure.
Pressure. Perfect. That is a great example of a variable, because if you, as you know, you change the pressure, it changes the result. But I'm going to take your answer and I'm going to expand it to mean technique. So pressure is part of technique. And remember earlier I said there were 5 parts of technique. Pressure is one of them. So I'm going to put this as technique. And your answer of pressure is inside of technique.
Okay.
So we have 1. 9 more to go.
Speed.
Speed. Which speed?
Rotational.
Tool speed?
Yeah, tool speed, yeah.
Because there's also arm speed.
Oh, shoot, yeah. Tool speed.
Or on speed.
Tool speed is what I was referring.
Okay.
See that correct grammar?
So you mentioned pressure, which is part of technique.
Well,
you
speed.
mentioned tool speed.
You mentioned arm speed.
Arm speed. And just to cut to the chase, the other 2 is pad angle.
Yeah, that was my number 2.
You got that? And then area. So the actual physical area of your application is a variable.
Yeah.
So these are all put into technique. So you have 1 down, 9 more to go.
All right.
So actually, you got 1
Pressure,
A and
angle.
1 B, 1 C.
1 C.
So give me another one. What's another variable?
Pad size.
Okay, so I'm going to take your answer, pad size.
50 other variables.
There's 52. No. So I'm going to call that the pad. So everything about the pad. Pad cleanliness, pad diameter, pad type.
Yeah.
All that is in the pad. That is a definite variable.
So these variables are in no particular order?
No.
Okay.
No. All right, we have 2, 8 more to go.
Shoot, that was 2 of mine. I had pad size and pad type. The type of rotation.
Type of rotation, so say more. Or the tool type,
Right.
right?
Right.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to take your answer and expand that. So the tool, which includes the movement, the type of tool, the RPMs, everything about the tool. 7 more to go.
Paint.
Very good.
See, now I'm getting it. I want to say all kinds of things about paint, but anything to do with paint. Wouldn't you say that?
Okay, so we will include in the paint hardness, the condition, the defects, everything about the paint. That is a definite variable. 5 more, or 6 more.
The product, which would be the polish or the...
Perfect. Okay, so we'll call that product. So this would be the compound, the polish, the whatever. And that is a definite variable. If you change that out, it's going to change the result. Well,
Or it
say
could be,
more.
could be ambient temperature,
Oh, perfect.
the
Okay.
conditions of the workspace. Yeah.
Very good. So we're going to call that environment. So everything in your environment, the ambient temperature, the humidity, the amount of particulate flying around in the air, the amount of lighting you have, everything in your environment is a definite variable. Happens to be one that many people don't pay a lot of attention to.
How about prep?
Prep of what?
Preparation of the surface.
I'm going to put that in paint.
Okay.
So your paint condition and the preparation is going to be in there. Environment. There's an N in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Environment.
Environment.
where my camera is positioned. That is a major
Important
variable.
to you,
That's the
yes.
more important variable than anything for me. Is my audio correct? Let's
You think of any more?
see.
Vote.
Residue.
Residue on the pad or on the paint? On the pad.
Well,
You're probably talking about residue on the pad.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm going to put that right in there.
Okay. Washer mod.
Presence of
I would put
Presence
that
of
in, there,
washer
in the
mod.
tool.
Would lighting? Lighting's part of your environment.
Environment. So the user themselves, the technician, and that means their experience, their skill set, their knowledge, their condition, their physical condition. Are they hungover from the night before? All that stuff. So the technician themselves is a variable, including passion, because we've learned that somebody who's really passionate about polishing and shining paint, they are a variable because if you're not that way, if you hate this, you're doing it because it's a job and you're putting food on your table, your results are going to be different than the guy who's passionate about it. I'll give you one because it's the one that most people don't get, but it's so obvious that you don't even think about it. And that is the backing plate. You might think it's part of the tool, but I make it separate because it is such an important variable. And think of this with rotary. If you take a soft, cushiony backing plate and you switch it to a hard backing plate and leave everything else the same, you will get a different result. Hard backing plates put more swirl in the paint. Soft ones put less. So backing plate is definitely a variable.
Size of the backing plate would also fit into that. Too,
Yeah,
right?
the diameter of the backing plate. The other thing is kind of related to paint, but it's the substrate. It's what's underneath the paint. So if that body, the body shape, or for example, the BMW 5 Series actually has four or five different substrates on that car. Aluminum, composite, ferrous metal, there's all kinds of different, and if you buff the same way through all those panels, you're going to get a different result because the heat dissipation is different underneath the paint.
Is the last one history? History of the car? Or is that back? Shoot, that's back to paint.
Yeah, I would put that back there.
All right, just give me the last one. I got nothing.
The 10th one is time and expectations, not only of you, the detailer, but also your customer. What you want out of the car, in terms of results, what you expect of yourself, and how much time you have. There's a scenario that we like to talk about where you want to do like a show car perfect finish on a car, but you only have an hour. So is that going to influence the result? Of course it will. You're going to be cutting a lot of corners. So time and expectations. Also, if you're a professional detailer and you're selling services, that price point makes a difference on the result of the car. If it's a $50 job versus a $5,000 job, the expectations are a lot different.
I do the same level of work for
All right, so those are all the things that if you changed them or they were changed on you, they would affect the result on the car. This is actually part of our advanced class where we go in depth on each one of these. What happens if you change this? What happens if you go, change that? But that's it. And no one's ever come up with the 11th one. Everything that you can think of that influences a result, I can park it in there somewhere. Okay, so that's variables.
What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.